Hi everyone, I'm going to do a little walkthrough of my causal loop diagram. What I wanted to portray in the diagram was kind of like all the elements that go into overfishing in the region we're most familiar with, which is Sonora, Mexico. We can see two main circles. The first one that starts kind of like with increased fishing efforts that goes into reproduction of species and populations, which creates a decrease in catch and unit per effort, and that eventually leads with time to advancements in technology and fishing gear. So that's kind of like the main, the first circle. And then the outside, there's also like an influence of international markets and demand that leads to industrial trawling and industrial fishing in general, and then leads to bycatch mortality of juveniles and females that affects the entire population, not just for industrial fishing. And then the second kind of circle that is connected by the decreasing catch of unit per effort is through economic need. So I think that, at least in my experience, I've seen that economical need usually comes hand in hand with like a lack of voice and political representation, which also is part of this broken permit system in Mexico, where there is an absence of legal enforcement and vigilance, and there's also a culture of corruption in many levels of the system, which leads fishermen into this kind of like cornered to depend on illegal fishing practices. And then in this economic need, I also wrote down that is partly due to the lack of economic alternatives in the community. That was one of the comments that I got feedback on. That was that you can still have, for example, like a really good education and still decide to be a fisherman. I think that that's not often the case in Mexico, in my experience. I could be wrong, but not with what I've seen. I think that there's like a humongous culture of love and thrill for fishing, but I think it's also really related to the lack of economic alternatives and the lack of possibilities to do something else. And it's the lack of alternatives, like culturally, that would be appropriate for fishermen to transition into, that are most like similar to fishing, and that wouldn't be too much of a shock or too much of a culture. So I wanted to kind of like portray that, but maybe there's a little bit missing there. All of the things in my map are positive, so I feel like there's something that I must have done wrong, but I can't really see what it is. I'm sure something's wrong, but I'm not sure what it is. So yeah, thank you for watching.